Have you ever felt like your mind is too full, yet somehow still empty? You chase answers, seek more knowledge, and yet peace slips further away. You're not alone. In a forgotten mountain temple, a Zen master once shared a simple truth that changed everything. Today, I'll tell you his story and the timeless wisdom that can help you empty your mind and fill your life with peace. It was in a quiet village nestled below snow-covered peaks, far from the world's clamor, that a young seeker named Kenji lived. He was restless, always thinking, always learning, yet never at peace. Though surrounded by mountains and temples, he felt disconnected from the tranquility they offered. Instead, his heart remained heavy, burdened by thoughts that echoed endlessly within him. Kenji had studied under many teachers, debated religious texts, and meditated for hours on end. But no matter how many practices he mastered or sutras he memorized, a deep sense of unease persisted within him. Night after night, he tossed and turned, unable to find rest. Day after day, he searched for answers, hoping to quell the turmoil in his soul. One day, as he sat in meditation, lost in the labyrinth of his own thoughts, he heard a gentle voice that seemed to come from within the mountain itself. If you seek peace, climb the highest peak where the cold wind whispers secrets to the sky. There, you will find an old monk living in solitude. His silence is deeper than words, and his wisdom can still the loudest storm. Intrigued and desperate for solace, Kenji decided to follow the voice's guidance. He set out on a long journey up the mountain, each step taking him closer to the unknown. The ascent was challenging, both physically and mentally. Yet Kenji pressed on, driven by the hope of finding peace. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the rugged terrain, Kenji finally reached a secluded clearing. There, in the midst of the serenity, he saw a humble hut, smoke curling from its chimney, a beacon of warmth in the gathering dusk. Summoning his last reserves of strength, Kenji approached the hut and knocked gently on the door. An old monk appeared, his face lined with years of meditation and solitude. With a warm smile, the monk welcomed Kenji, offering him food and a place to rest for the night. As they ate in companionable silence, Kenji noticed a serene calmness about the monk, a tranquil state that seemed to radiate from his very being. After a restful night's sleep, Kenji awoke feeling rejuvenated and eager to speak with the monk about his quest for inner peace. He explained his struggles, his countless hours spent in prayer and study, and the persistent unrest that continued to plague him. The monk listened patiently, and when Kenji fell silent, he spoke in a soft, measured tone. "You have been seeking peace in all the wrong places, my son. Peace does not dwell in books or rituals. It is within you, hidden beneath the layers of confusion and distraction that you have allowed to accumulate." Kenji was taken aback by these words. Could it be that the answer he had sought so desperately lay dormant within him all along? The monk continued, "Your mind is like a cup, young one. And just as a cup cannot hold more than it is able to contain, your mind, too, has reached its capacity. You try to pour more teachings, more scriptures into your already overflowing cup, yet the contents spill out, leaving you no wiser than before. To find peace, you must first empty your cup, allowing space for it to flow." Kenji pondered these words. He realized that in his quest for wisdom and enlightenment, he had become fixated on filling his mind with more information. He had attended countless lectures, read numerous scriptures, and engaged in endless discussions. Yet, despite all this, his inner turmoil had only intensified. The monk noticed Kenji's thoughtful expression and added, "Do not misunderstand, my child. I'm not suggesting that knowledge and teachings are not important. They are the foundation upon which understanding is built. But even the purest water can stagnate and become bitter if it is not allowed to flow. Just as a river must meander and change its course over time, so too must your mind wander freely, embracing the ebb and flow of thoughts without clinging too tightly to any one particular idea." Kenji nodded slowly, realizing the truth in the monk's words. He had become so engrossed in seeking answers that he had neglected to simply be. He had forgotten the beauty of not knowing, the wonder of embracing the present moment without judgment or expectation. The monk went on. "When your cup is empty, my son, you will be ready to receive the wisdom that has always been within your grasp. It is not a matter of acquiring more knowledge, but of letting go of what you think you know. Release your attachment to outcomes. Release your fear of uncertainty. Only then can you truly be open to the flow of life." Kenji felt a sense of liberation wash over him. The weight that had been pressing down on his chest seemed to lift slightly. He realized that he had been searching for answers in all the wrong places, trying to force peace into his life rather than allowing it to unfold naturally. Over the next few days, Kenji spent time in quiet contemplation, listening to the wind rustling through the trees, watching the clouds drift across the sky. He observed the natural world around him, allowing himself to be fully present in each moment. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Kenji turned to the monk and whispered, "My cup is empty now, Master. I feel lighter, as if a heavy burden has been lifted from my shoulders." The monk smiled knowingly. "Then you are ready, my son. The wisdom you seek has been waiting in the silence all along. It is in the quiet moments, when you are still and open, that the answers will come. It is in the stillness that you will find your true self. It is in the emptiness that you will be filled with the fullness of life." With these words, the monk imparted a profound truth that would forever change Kenji's perspective. He learned that true peace and wisdom were not found in the pursuit of knowledge, but in the letting go of attachment and the willingness to embrace the unknown. Kenji continued to meditate, to observe, and to listen, allowing his mind to settle into a state of tranquility. Days turned into weeks, and Kenji's inner turmoil gave way to a profound sense of calm. One day, as Kenji was sitting in meditation, he suddenly felt a surge of clarity and understanding. It was as if the walls of his mind had dissolved, revealing the vast interconnectedness of all things. He realized that he was not separate from the world, but an integral part of it. His thoughts, emotions, and actions were not isolated, but ripples in the greater ocean of existence. In that moment of realization, Kenji understood that the true nature of reality was beyond words and concepts. It was a state of constant flux, a dance of particles and energy that defied categorization. He saw the impermanence of all things, the interconnectedness of life, and the illusory nature of self. With this newfound understanding, Kenji felt a deep sense of gratitude and humility. He realized that his previous struggles and restlessness had been the result of his own attachment and desire for permanence. He had tried to grasp and control the ever-changing flow of life, but in doing so had only created more suffering for himself. Kenji was ready to return to the world, carrying with him the timeless wisdom of the mountain monk. He knew that the teachings he had received were not meant to be hoarded, but shared. So he began to share his experiences and insights with others, becoming a beacon of light in the darkness of confusion. As word spread of Kenji's transformation, people from far and wide came to him seeking guidance and solace. He founded a small community of learners, creating a space where people could come to meditate, reflect, and connect with their inner selves. Years passed, and Kenji's wisdom and compassion continued to grow. He became known as the Mountain Monk, a title that symbolized the tranquility and depth of his being. People would seek him out, not just for answers, but for the reminder to look within themselves for the answers that had always been there. And so the story of the Mountain Monk serves as a reminder that the answers to life's deepest questions often lie within us, waiting to be discovered in the stillness of our own hearts. When we quiet the noise of our minds and let go of our attachment to outcomes, we open ourselves to the wisdom of the universe. If this story brought you even a moment of calm, share it with someone you care about. And remember, stillness isn't empty. It's full of answers.